Kia ora. Good morning, everyone. Today we are presenting a critical examination of cyberbullying in New Zealand schools. This issue goes beyond the screen. It affects students' mental health, their sense of belonging, and their ability to learn safely. Through this presentation, we will explore the prevalence of cyberbullying both globally and in New Zealand, with a deep dive into the tragic case of Alatoi Sessa. We will also look at how the media covers such events, how misinformation spreads, and what schools and educators can do to respond effectively. Before we understand how cyberbullying affects schools, it's essential to define what it is. Cyberbullying refers to the use of digital technology to repeatedly harm, intimidate, or harass others. Unlike traditional bullying, this kind of harassment can happen 24 into 7 even when a student is at home. Cyberbullying can take many forms. It may be direct, like sending threatening or harmful messages, or it might be more indirect, like spreading rumors online or sharing someone's private images without their permission. Sometimes people can create fake profiles to impersonate someone and damage their reputation. The platforms used are the same ones students interact with every day: Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, even gaming chat rooms or group text. And because it's often anonymous, victims do not always know who is behind it, which tests the anxiety. A 2018 report by the Ministry of Women in New Zealand found that one in three teenagers reported experiencing digital harm, including harassment, image abuse, or blackmail. That's a huge number, so this is clearly not rare. Let's now look at why this issue is particularly concerning in schools.
Why should schools care about what happened on the student's phone or online accounts? Because the effect don't stop there. Cyberbullying can deeply affect a student emotions and their learning. It often leads to anxiety, depression, and serious cases, it's self-harm or a suicidal thoughts. Young people oftenly those who already struggle, they start to believing the cruel messages that they see online. When the abuse is anonymous or public, that hurt goes even deeper. Cyberbullying is also affect a student life. Some students might start missing school because they are scared and also stressed. Their grades suffer, not because they are less capable, because their mental well being is compromised. Socially, students who face cyberbullying often feel isolated. They avoid their friends and find it hard to trust people. This loneliness makes their emotional pain even more deeper. It also affects the whole school environment, not just one person. As highlighted by the Bullying Free New Zealand initiative, students who are bullied are less likely to engage with the learning and more likely to suffer from the poor mental health. That is not a small side effect. That's a barrier to education and well-being. To make matter worse, a recent New Zealand Harvard article revealed that the NetSafe received 25% of the complaints about cyber abuse in the past year. This is not a small increase, it's a warning sign. Cyberbullying is becoming more common and harmful. We can no longer dismiss it, just kids being kids. School, families, and communities must take this serious because the damage does not end when the screens turn off. To find out this is a global, how it is related to global, and why New Zealand is particular at a risk. Cyberbullying is not just a New Zealand issue, it's a global one. According to the UNESCO, about 1 in the 5 teenagers worldwide have faced cyberbullying. A global survey in 2018 found that the New Zealand had the third highest rate of cyberbullying among the 29 countries. The NetSafe confirmed that the nearly 1 in the 5 New Zealand teenagers experience online harassment. That means in class of 25, around 5 students are likely to be targeted online. Why their numbers so high? One major reason is the accessibility. Youth are digitally connected with the smartphone and social media. It will bring benefits but also increase the risks. The culture diversity also play a good role. Students from the ethnic minority or migrant backgrounds may face unique challenges online, like language barrier, culture misunderstandings, or even cruel abuse. Final, There still a gap in the formal digital citizenship education. Many students are not properly taught how to act responsibly online, how to stay safe, and how to get help when they need it. This something will be talked more about in later slides.
Now let's connect the data to real people. Unfortunately, we have seen several heartbreaking cases of cyberbullying in New Zealand. Tangiwai Wilson, a 11-year-old girl, faced constant bullying at school and online, which leads to her tragic death. 15-year-old Alatui Sasha was relentlessly bullied online with harmful messages on platforms like Ask.fm and Co.com, which contributed to her tragic death. But these are not isolated incidents across the country. Many apps have been used to send hateful messages, often without any consequences. Now, we would like to talk about a heartbreaking but important case that represents the real world consequences of cyberbullying in New Zealand. Alatoi Sasha was a bright student from St. Catherine's College in Wellington who tragically died by suicide in 2013 after enduring relentless cyberbullying. She received harmful messages like "Go kill yourself," which highlights the cruel and dangerous nature of cyberbullying. Sadly, this abuse took a several toll on her mental health, which leads to her tragic death. Her story caught national attention, with media outlets covering the situation and sparking public debates about the need for better protections for young people online. It led to urgent questions for politicians about the effectiveness of existing laws and protection, and also forced schools to rethink their bullying policies. NetSafe also reported a rise in concern from parents and educators about online safety, which makes it clear that stronger actions are needed not only to prevent these tragedies but also to provide better support for those who are affected by cyberbullying. This case serves as a critical reminder of the need for systematic change to address the growing issue of online abuse. We will look at how different media sources portrayed her story, what they emphasized, and how their coverage influenced public understanding.
The New Zealand Herald was the first major media outlet to cover Alatai Shasha's story in depth, reporting her receiving kill yourself messages, a chilling example of online cruelty. Netscape noted that such messages could be criminal under the Harmful Digital Communication Act, but enforcement remains difficult, especially with anonymous accounts or apps. The article raised urgent questions. If laws exist, why aren't they protecting young people? Are schools prepared? Should tech companies do more? The coverage shifted the focus from personal tragedy to national concern, highlighting gaps in legal accountability, schools' preparedness, and regulations. It emphasized that responsibilities lies with families, schools, tech companies, and policymakers, urging readers and lawmakers to think bigger. The Human Cost Media Stuff.co.nz provided a deeply personal view of Alatai Shasha's tragedy in their article, focusing on the emotional aftermath for her family, school, and friends. They spoke with classmates, teachers, and church members, capturing the heartbreak and confusion that followed. A student's quote, "She always had a smile, even when she was hurting," highlighted the silent suffering many students endure. Staff also covered her memorial service, showing that this was more than just a tragedy. It raised questions about the school's environment, whether students feel truly supported. By focusing on human impact of cyberbullying, staff moved beyond statistics to show the grief and loss experienced by the community, reminding us that behind every case of bullying is a person with a story, a family, and a community left to mourn.
While Stuff and the NSR Herald focused mainly on the emotional and legal impacts, RNZ took a broader and highlighted a serious problem: the shortage of trained mental health professionals in schools. They also talked to educational researchers who raised concern that cyberbullying is often underreported because students fear being punished for their online behavior. Aaron said emphasized that digital harm is still not treated with the same seriousness as physical bullying. In response, New Zealand government launched an $11 million pilot project to place mental health professionals directly in schools to catch warning signs early, offer real support, and prevent crisis before it was too late. A Ministry of Health spokesman said that the new initiative aims to give young people support before problems turn into crisis, showing that real change is possible when we take the impact of cyberbullying seriously. One expert on Ironset said, "We cannot protect students unless we understand the digital playground they live in." Deadlines tells us everything. Schools are often years behind the technologies their students use every day. Social media played a powerful role in shaping the response Alatoisa's trajectories. It served as a platform for empathy, with many people sharing tributes and calling for stronger action against cyberbullying. These messages amplified the demand for change in New Zealand. However, social media also spread misinformation and disinformation. False claims, such as suggesting Alatoi never reported bullying or blaming for her own suffering, caused additional pain for her family and community. They shifted the focus away from the real issue of cyberbullying and hindered efforts of meaningful change. But alongside with real and honest reactions, there was also rise in false and misleading information. And it's important to know the difference between them. Information is actual content shared to inform or explain based on the evidence and verified reliable sources. Misinformation is the spread of false or incorrect information without the intent to deceive. Disinformation is the deliberate spread of false information with the intent to mislead.
Misinformation in the cyberbullying can make the situation worse, especially in the schools. False stories about a student that can spread quickly and believed by the others. This can lead to the more bullying, socially isolations, and emotional harm for the victim. In the case of the Alatui Sasa, misinformation play a significant role. After her death, the false narrative about her life and circumstances spread rapidly on the social media. You have seen the some comments, go kill yourself, baby, ha ha ha, that further fuel this holistic environment. These individuals likely believe what they are sharing, but they still ended up spreading confusion and minimize the real issue of the cyberbullying. Teaching students to check information before sharing that can stop the spreading of the harmful misinformation. In cyberbullying, spreading lies and false claim on the purpose can cause serious emotional mental harm to a student. In Alatui case, disinformation include comments like you are depressed, the easiest thing is to escape this word, do it. These and some of these are also suggest like they are struggling with the personal issue. It is not linked with the bullying. And some also blame the Alatui family. And some claim is the bullying was not serious. It does not acknowledge the biggest issue in the system that allow to harm to continue. The kind of the harmful comments posted that intend to hurt, manipulate, and distort fact around her death. It also hurt the family emotions. To combat disinformation, we need to focus on promoting promoting digital literacy and responsible social media use in schools.
As we have discussed throughout this presentation, cyberbullying is a complex and growing issue, especially in New Zealand schools. To address this, we need a holistic educational response that engages not only students but also teachers, parents, and the wider community. Let's look at how we can address this issue through an educational program. One of the clearest lessons from the Alatui Sasa case is that students did not understand the seriousness of their online actions. Even they didn't know what counted as cyberbullying or realized that sharing false information could cause harm. This highlights the need to make cyber safety and digital literacy part of regular classroom lessons. Imagine if students had discussed a case like Alatoi's in health class or during media analysis, it would help them understand that cyberbullying is not just a virtual issue. It has a real life emotional consequences. Students would learn to ask questions like, is this post true? Or could this hurt someone? And be more thoughtful in their online actions. Her story should not just be a warning, it should be a lesson plan to teach compassion, critical thinking, and awareness before harm is done. Teachers and staff are often the first to notice when something is wrong, but only if they know what to look for. In Alato Isasa's case, her behavior changed quietly. She became withdrawn and less engaged, but the signs were not clear. This is a challenge across many New Zealand schools. NetSafe reports that many students don't speak up about online bullying because they fear adults won't understand or help. That's why we must equip teachers with more than classroom skills. They need training to notice emotional distress early, document warning signs, and respond with care and understanding. Simple strategies like regular check in conversation, digital well being discussion, during homeroom and guidance on handling misinformation can make a big difference. With resources from NetSafe, the Ministry of Education, and ongoing professional development, teachers can build a culture where students feel safe to speak up before it's too late.
Cyberbullying doesn't end at the school gate. It follows students into their phones, bedrooms, and families. That's why parent and community involvement is crucial. Schools can run workshops to help families understand online risks and how to support their children. In Alatai Shasha's case, her family didn't realize the extent of her bullying until it was too late. A common issue as many students feel too ashamed to speak up, and many parents do not know what sign to look for. We can't leave this school alone. Building a strong partnership between home and school is essential. Imagine if families had regular digital safety workshops, knew the platforms their children use, and could spot warning signs early. Yet, according to NetSafe, only 1 in 3 parents in New Zealand feel confident discussing cyberbullying. And that's not enough. These programs must also be culturally safe, involving community leaders and respecting the values of every family. It's not about blaming, it's about empowering. A key part of tackling cyberbullying is building safe, accessible reporting systems. Students need anonymous ways to report bullying without fear through online platforms, confidential apps, or even physical drop boxes. Just as important is making mental health support easy to access with counseling service available so students feel that asking for help is normal. Together, these steps create a school culture where students feel heard, supported, and empowered to speak up. To effectively tackle cyberbullying in New Zealand schools, we must create a culture of respect and responsibility. This involves integrating cyberbullying education into the curriculum, training teachers, engaging families, and ensuring safe reporting systems. School must lead by promoting empathy and digital responsibility in everyday learning. By doing so, we can reduce harm and ensure every student feels supported, heard, and safe both online and offline. These references we are used in our presentation. Thank you very much.